Hey guys, Joeblivion here, and this is a new series that I am starting, Crusader Kings 2 with the Game of Thrones overhaul. If you don't know how to play this, I can't really describe it all right here because it's complicated. It's really in depth. So as always, if you want to know how this game works, the best thing you can do is simply just watch me play it. That's just watch me play it. And the point of making this series is I want to be able to demonstrate just all the crazy shit that you can do with this mod and with Crusader Kings 2. Generally, IRL, when I tell people about this game, I have to regale them with stories of things I've done in the past. But I never really get to show them the gameplay. I never really get to show them what you can do, and I feel like I'm not really giving the game its fair shake. I'm not really advertising the game well. By simply telling stories where I sum everything up. So I figured, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make a series, and who knows how long it's going to be, where I'm just going to show everybody what the hell you can do. So I'm going to just hop into the single player, and I don't really know what era to start in. Right, so the way I feel about it is, War of Conquest is great because there are multiple kings that rule Westeros. Also, by the way, it really helps if you understand the Game of Thrones lore. Just saying. I'm not an expert on it, but I have some grasp of it, so all of this isn't completely alien to me. If it's completely alien to you, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll make sense eventually. But the way I see it here is that if you start in the War of Conquest, I could be whatever king I want to be. In the Kingdom of the Westerlands, the Iron Islands, the North, the Eyrie, Dorne, the Reach, the Stormlands, etc. But the downside is you've got this guy here called Aegon who is trying to conquer everybody with dragons, and they're really OP, and you can't really beat them. So that is kind of the downside. It's like you're a king, but only for a limited amount of time until Aegon conquers you. Unless, of course, you get lucky and Aegon decides that he doesn't want to conquer Westeros. Instead, he wants to conquer Essos and recreate the Valyrian freehold. I'd be cool with that, but most of the time he tends to conquer Westeros and he tends to whoop everyone's ass. So, and also he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of an asshole about it. Like if you bend the knee or anything, he just throws your character in prison and oftentimes beheads them. So I've had games where I've done the honorable thing and bent the knee only to have my family be systematically wiped out with beheadings because Aegon, he ain't a nice guy. If we picked the Clash of Kings, however, we don't have to worry about dragons. They're kind of gone, and Daenerys Targaryen tends to never really get off the ground, or at least the AI doesn't with Daenerys Targaryen. I think the last time I actually was paying attention to her, she tried to attack Meereen, and she was captured, and I guess... And as a form of punishment, I guess whoever was ruling Meereen at the time decided to amputate her leg as a means of punishment. And so she essentially had her leg cut off, was exiled to some place in Pentos, which is right here, where she married some nobody, and it looked like for a long time she wasn't going to survive because when your character gets a grave wound, or they're gravely wounded, the odds of them surviving are very low. But she somehow survived. Like, she somehow did survive, although she was missing a leg. She still had her 3 dragons, but she was missing a leg now. And then I stopped paying attention to her, and then I came back and found out that she had been killed by being offered as a sacrifice to the Red God by Princess Shireen, Stannis the Manus' daughter. So, I mean, that's just kind of a taste of the weird shit that can happen. And so the Clash of the Kings, you don't really have to worry about dragons, but you don't really get to be a king, though. Everyone is pretty much a Lord Paramount, and they've been Lord Paramounts for centuries. So getting independence is well, really, really hard, because the Iron Throne, like the Westeros is used to being unified as one continent, and when you've got one kingdom that decides to go, independent, they tend to get dogpiled by the other kingdoms of the continent, which, I mean, is not fun. Although, to be fair, I did have a game recently where I played as Cersei Lannister, and she did legitimately find a way to free the Westerlands. And then she conquered the Reach. So I don't know if I'm going to rely on that sort of luck this time around. Then Robert's Rebellion is the same thing. The Blackfire Rebellion is kind of interesting because it doesn't really make sense to me. And the Dance of Dragons can be exciting, but essentially it's dragon on dragon, and it gets a little too close for comfort in some instances. That is if you're playing as the Targaryens, either Rhaenyra Targaryen or Aegon II. And then if you play anyone else, they'll just kind of get conquered. So I'm leaning more towards the World Conquest, and I think I'm just gonna go with my usual, and that is with Ooh, I've got some odd screen tearing, which is really weird because this game isn't high. It doesn't have high graphics at all, and yet it's acting like it's something that's super demanding. I'm gonna go with King Loren of the Rock because the Lannisters, they're they're my they're my family, they're my house, they're the ones I play the most. Oh, either them or the Iron Islands. But I'm gonna play as King Loren this time, and I'm not gonna do custom ruler designer because I want to see what I can do with King Loren. Now, essentially, with King Loren, what I'm thinking about doing is trying to maintain my independence as long as possible. Hopefully we get lucky and Aegon doesn't conquer everybody, but if he does... You know what? I don't know, because if we surrender, he's probably just going to behead us anyway, so we might as well just fight. So this should be interesting. Game rolls, yeah, you guys, when you play this, you're gonna have to go through these and look at these yourself. Yeah, they're great because you can edit all sorts of stuff like education costs and the like, but I've got all my preferred settings saved to one of my load rules, so here's hoping we don't have any more bugs like the last few times I've played. Alright. Gonna let it load. It's taking a little bit longer than usual. Normally it doesn't take long at all, but when you're recording, it does take up resources from your PC. Awesome. I am King Loren of the Rock of House Lannister, and I will make my ancestors proud. Indeed. Indeed. The proud House Lannister. Reginald is arriving to record. I don't know who Reginald is, but doesn't really matter. So, here is my kingdom, the Rock, my favorite kingdom. And I am King Loren. Well, first what I'm gonna do, he's looking pretty old for a guy who's only 33, is I'm going to change my hairstyle because I'm not digging the beggar king look, so I'm gonna cut the hair short. I'm gonna maybe I should just go for the pedo stash. Important decisions like this, you're gonna have to do important decisions like this. Oh, I've got to go with the manly goatee, and well, I actually don't know what this facial hairstyle is called, but it's my favorite, so I'm gonna pick that. Oh, look at him, he's so much better. He cleaned up nice and well. And let's go ahead and choose some of these things. I think that for King Loren, having as many children as possible, which should be his priority. Shit. Should I focus on anything else if I'm on the verge of potentially being conquered? I don't know. Alright, well, let's set up my staff first. Let's set up my council. So I've got my Hand of the King. Let's just put you here. Master of Laws. Let's send you down to the Reach here, because we gotta be allies with the Reach. I'm gonna have my Master at Arms train troops here in Casterly Rock. I'm gonna have you collect taxes here. And Master of Whispers, you're going to scheme and discover plots for me. My Maester, you're going to do your Maester stuff. Septon. Just perform charity, because I don't think we need to proselytize. All right, then my designated regent is not going to be my brother. I'm going to make it my wife, Queen Cheryl. Yes. Make my brother my bodyguard, my house. Yeah, I can make him in charge of the household guard. Why not? Keeper of the Swans. Generally, with this stuff, I just give it to whoever it puts in the top slot here, and it tends to be important vassals, and it just makes them like you more. Paramount Knight, you could have a bit more discretion, but I guess I'll give it to Melon because he is a formidable fighter. King's Justice, I don't really care who has that. And then I'm going to put auto-assign commanders, so I never have to worry about commanders, although you'd think you wouldn't ever have to worry about commanders, but sometimes you actually do. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to auto-stop plots. Is there anything here I want to do? I don't think so. Alright, now, I'm actually going to leave my focus open because I don't really know what Aegon's going to do. So I want to press spacebar, and I'm going to start the timer. And as we can see, craziness has already happened. All hail His Grace Lauren of the House Lannister, the first of his name, King of the Rock and the Westerlands, Lord of Casterly Rock, Shield of Lannisport, and Protector of the Realm. Indeed, hail me. Okay, we're going to look at politics again. Let's see what Aegon has done. Aegon has... Ah, damn it. Yep, he started conquering the Iron Islands. He's going for Westeros, which is not good. Not good. I have no options to attack him, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I have no valid Cass's Belly. So, in this overhaul, in this mod, you generally can't just spontaneously declare war on people. If you play Crusader Kings 2, the vanilla version, you can. You can just conquer people for any reason. Or at least I could when I was playing as one of the many states in England. But I found that being able to just conquer all my neighbors just because was kind of overpowered, because I could just steamroll everybody and just take over everything, which that's more your speed. You know, that's really, really good for you. But in Game of Thrones, you need to have, you can't just declare war on people for no reason unless you're like a dragon rider, or you have the pirate religion. If you have the pirate religion, well, you're seen as kind of lawless. You don't respect rules of inheritance and the like, so you just conquer whoever you want. The Iron Islands also have something like that, but there are requirements. Like you have to have everyone liking you and things like that. Dragon riders, of course, can just conquer everyone because Aegon the Conqueror here actually sets that precedence. If you have a dragon, you can just conquer people because, you know, screw inheritance. Dragons don't care. So we're going to have to keep our eyes open on what Aegon does. And it seems the Riverlands have risen up in revolt, which normally is what happens. The Iron Islands have it so bad in this scenario because it's Heron the Black. He's a tyrant. He's enslaved the Riverlands, and I have played Heron the Black, and it is so hard to maintain any of your holdings, because generally you're attacked by Aegon at the beginning, and then you've got and then if you don't get attacked by Aegon, you have to worry about your vassals here in Riverrun, the you know, House Tully, revolting against you, and they're really powerful. Yeah, they don't have it easy. They don't have it easy. What is King Mern doing? Attacking High Septon. Okay. Interesting. He is my ally, no? Can we form an alliance? No, for political concerns. Well, that's odd. What is Storm King Argilac doing? Has he married his daughter off? Yes, he tends to. He tends to. And then you've got your sister Amabel, who is... Now, here's the... Your Grace King Lauren, the most devout, is under attack from the Reaches and in need of aid. We implore you to join our coalition against our common enemy so that the interests of the Reachmen here and your fellow Westerman will remain protected. Well, King Mern's war with you and the most devout doesn't affect me whatsoever, and I'm not going to wage war on a fellow king, not when we've got Aegon Targaryen destroying everything. So no, you know, you're gonna have to deal with it. Anyways, so the interesting thing about Crusader Kings 2 is that, well, I shouldn't say Crusader Kings 2, because this might not be true in vanilla, but so I'll say for a Game of Thrones, the overhaul, is that the way characters look actually does translate to how their children look, interestingly enough. So, for example, in my honest opinion, Amabel Tully is relatively attractive when compared by NPC standards, okay? By NPCs in this game standards, right? So whoever she makes babies with are going to look kind of like her and kind of like the father, right? So, for example, if I wanted to have a family of only blonde, golden-haired Lannisters, I would have to make sure that I only make babies with other blondes, right? So CK2 takes that into account. A little bit of a digression there, but that's okay. That's okay. These certain things you have to understand. Oh, yeah, I mean, you do have to understand it, because also the stuff down here, these are your traits. Certain things are genetics. They're genetically linked, like Quick. This character is brighter than most. That's a genetic trait. So So what I'll probably do for this time, just to demonstrate this, is... Oh, I have to change my kid's focus. Ooh, what do I want to do? Do I want to be focused on... So again, with the whole genetics thing, is your children are everything. You really have to make sure you have children, otherwise your line ends, and you need to make sure they're good. And you can also kind of steer their path depending on how you educate them. Well, in my understanding, in my time playing Crusader Kings 2, the way I see it is this: if you're Westerosi, you've got the path of money, military, diplomacy, and learning. You can't use this... I don't think you can pick... Oh, you can. Okay. Heritage. Prince Lyman is tutored by various courtiers and family members, focusing on assimilating Westerman culture and the Faith of the Seven. It doesn't really make sense to do this, because he's already got Faith of the Seven, and he's a Westerman. He could do Faith, which I think increases his piety, and potentially makes him an idolizer, which is zealous, erudite, or frail. I mean, 2 out of 3 traits here are good. And that's kind of another thing I look for when I'm picking what I want to do here, is I look at what they might get. So if we picked Dill or Duty, he would get conscientiousness. He could. It doesn't mean he will, but he could, which could develop into diligent, honorable, or temperate, which are all really, really good traits to have. Thrift, you can get curious, which is shrewd, cynical, fashionable, diligent, or sympathies for other religions. Those are all generally good. He can get fussy, which is patient, greedy, or paranoid, which 2 out of... Actually, no, technically those are all kind of good traits. Paranoid is a little iffy because it hurts your diplomacy, but it makes it hurts your diplomacy, but it makes it harder for you to be assassinated, but also prompts you with really weird events. So you got to be careful with that one. And if you go Pride, you have Haughty, which is proud, arbitrary, cruel, or ruthless. A lot of those traits aren't good. What's this? Your Septon was cornered by a desperate crowd of beggars and has been seriously wounded. Well, it goes with the job. So Haughty, not so good. Brooding, you get just, wrought, selfish, or envious. Again, none of those traits are really that great. So picking the path of Pride, not really worthwhile. Struggle can get Rowdy, which is brawny, honest, rude, arbitrary, or dull. Now, 2 out of 5 aren't very good chances, but brawny is a really, really good trait. But you have to weigh that. Is it really worthwhile potentially getting rude, arbitrary, or dull? And then you got willful, which is ambitious, brave, authoritative, or stubborn. Now, 3 out of 4, those are pretty damn good odds. Although stubborn's really bad to have, but ambitious, brave, and authoritative is really, really good too. But rowdy is a little risky. Etiquette: playful, gregarious, or deceitful. Can go either way. Indolent: charitable, slothful, or gluttonous. 2 out of 3 of those are bad. So, humility: timid, humble, shy, or craven. So 2 out of 3 are bad. Affectionate: kind, content, trusting, or family person. Now, those are all technically good traits, except for content. Content is pretty bad to have as a leader. What do I want to pick for my potential heir to the throne? Should he be a fantastic warrior, or should he be really thrifty, making tons of money? Should he be really diplomatic and making his vassals love him? Generally, diplomacy is one of the safest things you can pick because it makes everybody like you. And the more your vassals like you, the more troops they will offer to your cause. Which, determines whether you win wars or not. I can see I got some raiders here. Oh, but they're leaving now. And plus, I don't own Castamere, so... Your Grace, my mission to Highgarden has so far been a success. During my visit to the court of King Mern, it seems to have... I seem to have managed to make him understand what benevolent and peaceful ruler you are. Yay! So he's going to like me more. So that goes up to 60. Will you form an alliance with me now? No. Jerk. Okay. Well, let's see. Has he been conquered yet? Defending? No, he hasn't. Oh, my bad. No, the Riverlands has not revolted yet. They are just kind of remaining neutral. Which is still not good for King Hair in the Black, but it's better than having a full-on revolt. Let's see. Attacking Lord Reaver Arnold of Blackwater Rush in King Aegon's conquest of Blackwater Rush, which he's almost won. Yeah, why is he in hiding? That's really odd. King Aegon's doing some weird shit. Alright, so I said I was going to show some of the weird stuff you can do. So let's take a look. What can I do? Well, if we look at focus here, we've got a variety of things. It's kind of like the focus for your kids when you're raising them. It's just kind of like a focus you do during your life, like what you want to focus on. You've got war, hunting, carousing, family, you know, pretty much everything you can think of. As far as weird stuff goes, the weirdest thing I can think of when it comes to choosing your focus would either be intrigue or seduction, because... What's this? My beloved wife Shirl is constantly bored and keeps talking about the new fashion she has heard about, and now she wants me to introduce it at court. My money is your money. Vanity is a sin, let's go to church instead. What would we get for zealous? We'd get martial, church opinion. Other faiths will hate us, but... yeah, but a 33% chance to get charitable, that'd be really, really good. Do I lose anything for this? No. I have lots of things, and giving my surplus to others is a good deed. I've gained the charitable trait. Awesome. Okay, so I'm charitable, lustful, which isn't ideal. Proud is fine. Brave, yeah, generally good traits, except for lustful. That could be a problem. It just means that my character is going to be more prone to accepting advances from, you know, other characters. Mainly females, because he's male. But, you know, if you're a female, you're going to get approached by guys a lot. And yeah, so you kind of have to fight them off, or you know, you can just bed them, because that's also a strategy in this. So, as far as weird stuff goes, I could easily pick seduction here, and just begin seducing everyone in my court. I could begin seducing the wives of all of my vassals. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, it's a good way. If you want to see your house proliferate, seduction is a great way to do it. However, if you don't do it properly, you run the risk of pissing everyone off. And nothing makes your vassals want to kill you more than cuckolding them. And that doesn't even touch the idea that you can actually, for some reason in Game of Thrones, you can seduce your siblings as well. Which is generally, as far as the Faith of the Seven goes, really, really frowned upon. They really hate incest. And I don't blame them, because if you do incest too much, then if you have children with your siblings, then they do get inbred traits. And it's disastrous how bad that can be for your characters. What's this guy doing? Dear Lauren, I would like to invite you to join me for a small gathering of friends to dine and drink. Okay, so he's probably carousing, right? Yeah, he's carousing. So of course I'll come, because carousing helps everybody. So besides seduction, there's also intrigue, which allows you to spy on people, which can be really, really useful. Although probably not for my character, because my intrigue is kind of low. My highest ability is stewardship. So making money is generally what King Lauren is about, and then after that he's about diplomacy. Interesting. Well, intrigue is if your character has a really high intrigue, you can spy on people and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like you can make up rumors about them, you can discover potential plots, you can discover potential factions they're a part of. Also, you have options for well, murdering people and kidnapping them. Which, if we go here to Intrigue, I have my plots, right? So I can plot to do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like I can plot to kill my own wife if I want to, and it turns out my possible plots power is actually pretty dang high. So that probably means that other people are willing to actually help me murder my own wife, or I could just kidnap her. The same thing goes for my my siblings. I would never suggest doing any of this because this is just disastrous to your own kingdom. But you know, if your intrigue is high enough, you can arrange it to affect other factions, right? So we got Lord Reaver Vic on, and I could plot to kill him, although I have no plot power for that because he's surrounded by Ironborn who are loyal to him, so they won't collaborate with me. But if there's an enemy ruler out there that's particularly hated, like Aegon would be hard to kill because he's in hiding. But King Hair in the Black, he should be pretty easy to kill. Actually, he's not. Which is interesting because he's considered a tyrant. And not just a tyrant, but like a pretty damn hated tyrant. Because when you gain tyranny, you don't just jump to automatically minus 40 vassal opinion. You have to work your way up to that. So he's been a little overzealous in his tyranny. But King Lauren doesn't exactly have what I would call an excellent intrigue, so doing that intrigue stuff probably wouldn't be beneficial to him. However, I could, in theory, start molding little Prince Lyman here to be more of a intrigued character. Yeah, Pride doesn't really help him with that. Struggle won't help him with that either, I don't think. I think Etiquette might. Because there's a chance for him to get Deceitful, which is a good intrigue trait. My liege, I believe that one of your vassals can be discouraged from associating with conspiratorial factions if the proper leverage is obtained. How do you wish to proceed? Right. Go to the Factions tab, and it shows you the different factions that are a part of your kingdom. And these are really, really important to monitor because, well, different factions... Well, I mean, factions, once they gain enough strength, can completely alter your kingdom. Like, you can be deposed, you can have the monarchy overthrown, you can have them move to lower crown authority, you can... all sorts of weird shit can happen. Luckily here, my vassals all like me, so they formed a faction called Crown Loyalists, which just means that they're invested in my rule, which is really, really great. Which means that Lord Damien here, the second of Castamere, I don't actually have to do anything. Right? If he was part of a faction to, let's say, depose King Lauren, I could blackmail him, obligate him, or simply ask him politely to stop conspiring against the throne. But I don't have to do that now because I'm not in threat of being overthrown. And I kind of want to keep it that way. So I think what I want to do is mold my children to be kind of diplomatic as well as intrigue focused, because which is kind of hard to do. So I'm going to go with Etiquette because there's a chance for him to get Deceitful. Gluttonous, slothful, charitable, but that's also bad. Maybe I should make him go for Conscientious. Oh, but if he gets Honorable, that's going to screw him too. Let's see. Patient, greedy, or paranoid. Those would all be good. Curious, shrewd, cynical, fashionable, diligent. These are all yeah, thrift is pretty much win all around. So I'm gonna pick thrift. Who's educating him? Well, if he teaches him how to be ruthless, that'd be pretty awesome. That's a really good intrigue trait. Now, as far as Prince Lana goes, you know what? I think I actually want her to go intrigue as well. Here's why. Because I intend to marry Lana off to potential kingdoms that I can ally with. And if she has a really high intrigue, and she's on our side, she will conspire with us if we have any plots going on in other kingdoms. Okay, so apparently I'm carousing, so I'm going to pick etiquette for you. Prince Lancelin, I'm going to do the same for you. Etiquette all around. Diplomacy, intrigue, awesome. As far as King Lauren goes, maybe I'll pick intrigue. Oh, should I pick that? I don't know. I'm not gonna pick anything right now. I'll think about it. Okay, we're out of time. Just, this episode has been kind of a prologue, just a brief introduction to some of the base mechanics of the game. As the series goes on, we're going to encounter more and more events where I'll be able to demonstrate just what this game is capable of doing. Shoot, who knows what could unfold? Maybe The Rock will take over everything because I can, or maybe we'll be conquered by Aegon and we'll have to be Lord Paramounts of the West, and then we can arrange to have the Targaryen dynasty, assassinated or something crazy like that. So, but that's we'll explore more of that in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Crusader Kings 2 Game of Thrones edition. I've been Joeblivion, and until next time, guys, see you all later.